Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll call the March 17th meeting of the Common Council to order. Please call the roll.
Councillor Olson. Here. Councillor Fennessy. Councillor Bender is excused. Councillor Sweeney. Here. Councillor McDonald. Councillor Mazzolia. Councillor Finsland. Here. Councillor Herrick. Here. Councillor Dennis Dahlbeck. Here. And Councillor Esther Dahlbeck.
Here.
Recognized when quorum will proceed, and I'll ask for consideration of the minutes of the meeting of March 3rd. For the motion and second to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, I'd like to recognize some folks that are here with us tonight. First, I'd like to recognize on behalf of the Common Council and the people of Superior, the auxiliary members from the Police Auxiliary. I'll read one certificate, and I'm going to ask Officer Besky to help me present these to the auxiliary. This is a certificate of appreciation presented to Al Miller and the rest of them that will be named off for your willingness to give your valuable time and talent to the citizens of Superior and that visit our wonderful city, for volunteering at all events on city-owned property or in the public right-of-way as requested by event organizers, for enduring the heat of summer and the chill of winter at events such as the 4th of July Parade, the Lake Superior Dragon Boat Festival, and most notably the Lake Superior Ice Project this year. In the case of the Ice Project, the auxiliary members volunteered in minus 20-degree weather and wind chills. For assisting with traffic control, communication, and customer service at these and many other events, for serving as outstanding ambassadors of the Superior Police Department and the City of Superior. Congratulations on a job well done, dated the 17th of March on behalf of the people of Superior. I want to thank each and every one of you for fine work you do and hard volunteer work that you perform. Al Miller. Tom Cannon. Thank you, Tom. Kathleen Otto. Thanks, Kathleen. Tamara O'Brien. Tamara. Don Green. Thank you, Don. Virginia Alder. Richard Cowan. He's not able to make it today. Nicholas Nelson. Tony Schroeder. Thank you. Timothy Saborski. Joseph Luter. Joseph. Joe Pearson. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Nate Smith. Justin Blisted. Todd Johnson. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Luke Wagner. Wagner. I'm here. Okay. And Joe Collins.
Also not here.
And I want to thank Bonnie, Officer Besky, for the fine work you do too.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hi, my name is Al Miller, and I just want to thank the council, police chief, and everybody for their support over the years. I'm not going away, but I'm just mentioning that. So. But I just want to thank everybody at council. They've been real supportive. They got us cars years ago and stuff like that. Well, anyway, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize a family in our community that's longstanding as well as very important to the community for their community service, but also the walk of life that they provided throughout the family that they have and growing up in Superior and moving on. It's good to recognize people that we don't do it often enough as far as we may be concerned, but we'll start with Jack O'Brien. John Jack O'Brien, he was a street superintendent for Superior for many years. He worked 30-some years for the city of Superior, and most of his children reside here and are valuable members of our community. And one of them went on to national stardom, if you will, and that'd be Scott O'Brien. Some of you went, Mike, you might have went to school with Scott O'Brien. And Scott was, I was a student teacher, I think, at the time when Scott was at Central Junior High School. So I remember Scott back to those days, but we've all been following him on the televisions across America for the various teams that he worked for in very high level, and most recently with the New England Patriots as a special teams coach for a number of years. Of course, he helped them with the national championship here just this last fall also. So I'd like to offer a proclamation to Scott O'Brien and the O'Brien family, and I'll paraphrase it as we read here. Jack, why don't you folks come up here? And several members of the O'Brien family are here with us tonight. And Jack, by the way, last Friday night got a special award for he's been in the Boxing Association of Duluth and Superior for 25 years. And I think he KO'd a few people around those years too, I'm not sure. Maybe you can introduce your family, Jack.
My son Mike, my granddaughter Eric, my grandson Patrick.
Forget who's the other.
And his favorite daughter.
Behind me.
So on behalf of the City of Superior and the Common Council, I'd like to offer this, Jack. Whereas born in Superior, Wisconsin, Scott graduated from Superior Senior High School in UW Superior, where he played linebacker from 1975 to 78. And whereas Scott signed with the Green Bay Packers in 1979 as a defensive end and also played in the Canadian Football League for the Toronto Argonauts in 1980, and whereas he began his coaching career with his alma mater, Superior, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin, as an assistant coach from 1980 through 1982. In 1983, he moved to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where he served as the UNLV's linebackers and special teams coach from 1983 to 1985. And whereas after that, Scott spent a season in the same capacity at Rice University before becoming the University of Pittsburgh special teams coach in 1987. He held that position through 1990 when he moved to the NFL coaching ranks. And whereas in 1991, Scott was hired by the then Cleveland Browns head coach, Bill Belichick. I messed that one up, didn't I? As the Browns special teams coach, winning the NFL Special Teams Coach of the Year award in 1994. And whereas he stayed with the franchise even after Belichick's departure and the team's move to Baltimore as the Baltimore Ravens following the 1995 season until 1998. And whereas in 1999, Scott joined the California Panthers as their assistant head coach and special teams coach, left there in 2004 to join the then Miami Dolphins as coordinator of football operations and assistant to the head coach in 2005 and 6. And whereas Scott joined the Denver Broncos as their special team coach in 2007, leaving the Broncos in 2008 to serve the Patriots in the same capacity, rejoining his former coach, who said, "I have never worked with a coach better than Scott O'Brien. Scott is second to none in preparation, strategy, teaching, techniques, fundamentals, scouting, and virtually any other aspect of team building, game planning, or player development that exists in football." And whereas Scott O'Brien retired February 3rd of this year, 2 days after he helped the Patriots win the Super Bowl 49 after 24 seasons in the NFL, I now therefore, Bruce C. Hagan, declare this day Scott O'Brien Day in the City of Superior.
Thank you very much. I know my son would really appreciate this, And I know he's gonna put with the rest of his stuff, you know? But anyway, thank you very, very much.
I just have a note from Scott. We are all honored to accept this on behalf of Scott, and how fitting to honor an Irish family on St. Patrick's Day. Scott regrets he couldn't be here to accept and thank you in person, as he is still in New England finishing his duties with the Patriots. Scott has worked so hard all these years. His dedication, passion, and drive to give 110% of himself is so inspiring to all of us. During his career, his special teams have set records, and it has been written that he could be one of the best special teams coach in the history of the NFL. What an amazing honor. So many people ask where he played ball, and they are shocked that a small-town boy could really rise to the level that he has. On behalf of Scott, we want to say a huge thank you to the City of Superior for recognizing him. We are so proud of him and all of his accomplishments. Thank you.
Jack, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thank you very much.
Item number 6 is the consent agenda. Just a note, item 6.7, number 2, which is changes to the permit fees, that will be coming back to the April 8th meeting, as we need to have a resolution adopting those fees, and it was not included on this agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
For the motion and second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Item 7.1, Finance Director Vito is requesting approval of Amendment 1 to the Professional Services Agreement with Design Elemental, including the extending the agreement through December 31st, 2015, with an estimated annual cost of $32,400.
Heard a motion and second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
7.2, Fire Chief Panger is requesting to award the Fire Station Number 2 concrete apron replacement project to the lowest qualified bidder, Chippewa Concrete Services, Inc., for the amount of $143,230.75.
Heard a motion and multiple seconds. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
7.3, Director Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Morgan is requesting to award the bid for renovations to Billings Park to Udine Trucking for a total of $434,782.95.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Environmental Services Director Steve Roberts is recommending to purchase the final clarifier sludge removal equipment for a cost not to exceed $38,000.
You've heard the motion. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Planning and Port Director Cirque is recommending to approve MSA Professional Services as a contractor for the city's CDBG 2016 through 2020 Consolidated Plan and 2016 Annual Action Plan for a cost of $32,000 plus $1,800 in travel expenses.
Heard the motion second. Councilor Olson?
Jason, what do we need travel expenses for?
That's how we actually, Counselor, that's actually how we asked them to break it out. And I kind of beat them up a little bit about that. Sorry for my language. But essentially got them to reduce that amount. They are coming up from Madison, so they do need some travel expenses. And there's probably about, I would assume, about 5 different times when they'll be up here with us in hotels and also, gas money and food.
There isn't any of that we could do over conference calls?
It's personal meetings and questions with forums and groups.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
7.6, Planning and Port Director Cirque is recommending to award the purchase of property at 1127 Grand to Gil and Michelle Rogers in the amount of $360.
For the motion and second. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
7.7, Public Works Director Getzman is recommending to award the construction of a 60 by 100-foot salt storage shed to A&B Construction Ltd. in the amount of $144,210.
Heard the motion and seconds. Counselor Sweeney.
Just a question. I didn't understand adding this 10 feet. What does that have to do?
It's a three-sided shelter, and there's about if I remember right, a $25,000 or $30,000 ad to make it a four-sided with a door. Well, we don't want a four-sided with a door, but that limits getting equipment in and out of the shed. So what we did is we added 10 feet back. We can leave that front open and keep the material at least 10 feet back from the door. That way we don't have moisture and that type of stuff on our material pile. The door will be facing away from the lake almost exactly, so that we shouldn't have any issues that way. But the extra 10 feet is the option to keep the material clean and dry. That was a recommendation that came from the DOT, was to put the cover on it.
Is the city going to do that then?
The city's going to do the grading work and do the paving, and then there will be a contractor supplying the footings, supplying the concrete bunker walls, and then
No, I saw that. Okay. It says the Public Works Department plans to build an additional 10 feet. Last paragraph, okay. Onto the storage shed, and the cost is reflected in the total award. So it was a little, at least, conflicting to me.
Okay.
But who is putting up the fourth wall, if you would?
A&B Construction is
Okay.
doing the project.
Right.
The city's doing the earthwork on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
8.1, Mayor Hagan is recommending approval of a 2-year legislative affairs consultant agreement with Bill McCoshen, Capital Consultants, for the period January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2016, for the amount of $1,416.67 per month, plus expenses.
Motion approved. Is there a second? Second. Counselor Fennessy?
Just a quick question. Maybe you could just give a quick background in this. I think this is a great service that Bill McCoshen provides. I guess I was and I meant to make a phone call today and I wasn't able to, but the extra cost, there must be an extra cost because we're picking up from what the Development Association is not?
The county and I believe the chamber is looking at doing that.
So is this an additional cost from
No.
previous contracts?
If I recall right, Gene, the contract was $30,000 a year.
I know that this is the exact same amount that that the city has been paying in the
It is,
past.
okay.
Same amount.
Okay, that was my question. I just didn't want to start picking up additional costs for another entity that declined it. So, okay, that answers. Thank you.
Counselor Dennis Dahlbeck?
Yeah, Gene, on the terminal tax, how much have we made on that since we started getting it? Just off the top of your head.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it goes back to 2006. We received $600,000 in that year. This last year, I want to say it was 2.1 million, over 2.1 million. So,
Right. Yeah. I just want everybody to know that Bill McCoshen was one of the key people in getting that money for us. He wheeled and dealed with both sides of the aisle, and after many trips down there, he did get the agreements set up with the State Finance Committee. Had it not been for him, we probably would not have gotten it. So I think the $1,416 a month is pretty cheap when you look at how much money he's made the city of Superior.
Well, the value added, if I may, when I took office, we were getting $780,000 a year in 2011. Now we're up to what, and he's led the legislative action with regard to lobbying for us, so it's the value added is there. Councilor Sweeney?
Does he provide a monthly or quarterly report to the city?
Not so much in writing, no. But we do interface with him pretty regularly on different issues that we have before the city.
Okay, would that not be a good idea, or?
It would be a good idea, and I think we should take that up.
I'd like to see something
Sure.
at least quarterly presented by him.
Sure, okay, we'll take that, do that. Any further discussion? Counselor Olson?
Did we advertise for any bids on any of this, or is this just a continued relationship that?
It's a continued
are there-
relationship,
Are there other lobbyists available at this point?
all kinds of them.
I can answer that. There's a lot of them down there, but he's the only one that gets stuff done. And we're lucky to get him. I mean, he is very much in demand. So-
Experience I've had is he has very quick access to, whether it's a Republican or Democratic governor.
Right.
He's served the community well over the years.
And he was born and raised in Superior.
Further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Any further business to come before this body? Motion adjourned. You've heard a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you.